Hello, sunshine, and welcome. My name is Liz Castro. I'm up here in South Dakota. We're a little dark and gloomy today. A little bit of snow action was happening. I'm going to walk you through a Yin Yoga sequence to combat anxiety, combat a little depression, and just kind of get deep into that connective tissue. So you don't need a mat, but if you have one, you're more than welcome to use it. You can use a towel or a blanket as well to add a little extra cushion underneath your knees. Grab a hold of a couple of blankets, any size that you would like to use. Blocks, if you have them, are great to have by a bolster, even if you have a bolster at home. If you don't have a bolster, you can always roll up a blanket or two to get that extra padding that you might need. My husband, Nick Castro, is going to come along with me. He's going to be on the mat beside me, and we're just going to flow you through. So just take a breath, and here we go. So we're just going to go ahead and get started in a seated position. If you're a little tight in the hips, I know my hubby is a little tight in the hips here. So usually he'll sit on a pillow just to get his hips up and his pelvis rotated forward. And if you don't have a pillow handy, you can always roll up a blanket. Use a blanket rolled up and use that blanket to just rotate those hips and elevate them up. If you can't hear me, just go ahead and give me a little notice and I'll adjust there for you. Just find a comfortable seated position here. Maybe your legs are out in front of you, your palms resting on your lap, and just close your eyes. If you're comfortable with it, just go ahead and close your eyes for a moment. Find a breath. Just allow that breath to begin to settle in. Just begin to allow that sit bone to become nice and grounded to your mat, to your blanket, your towel, whatever you might be sitting on. And just allow that breath to begin to flow. Inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out through the nose. Inhaling in for peace, exhaling out, letting go of any tension that you're holding in the body. Inhaling in for wellness. Exhaling to release any tightness, any resistance in your body. Inhaling in for love. Exhaling, allowing that love to just radiate out from your heart. Inhaling in for patience. Exhaling out without rush. Just taking your time. Inhaling in, dwelling in on transition. Exhaling out so that you can begin. On your next inhale, we're going to inhale the arms up, gathering up that air. Exhale, bring those arms out to a cactus pose, driving those shoulders in towards each other as if you're holding a pencil in the shoulders, opening through the chest, letting that heart shine. Inhale, flow the arms up. Gaze follows the thumbs as you reach up out of those arms. Exhale, lower those hands down to your heart center. Inhale, flowing the arms up. Adding on as we go along here. Exhale, those arms come out to a cactus pose. Head can drop back if it's in your practice. Inhale, gaze follows the hands as they come up. And exhale, lowering those hands down to your heart center. Inhale, we're going to push those palms in towards each other and push those elbows out in opposite directions. So you're getting tension in your hands, driving in some heat here. Exhale, your elbows are going to come in towards each other, palms together. Inhale, hands come up, gaze follows the thumbs. Exhale, open those arms up to a cactus pose. Again, your head can drop back if it's in your practice. Inhale, flow those arms up, gaze follows. Exhale, lowering those hands down to your heart center. Thumbs pausing at the heart, gaze is following. Inhale, we're gonna push those hands in towards each other, driving those elbows up, shoulders come up towards your ears. Inhale, exhale, our elbows come in towards each other, palms are still fused together, gaze is at our thumbs. Inhale, the arms come up, gaze follows the thumbs. Exhale, arms are wide, cactus pose. Inhale, flowing up with the arms. Reaching up out of those arms, gaze follows the thumbs. Exhale, lowering those hands to your heart center. Inhale, palms push in, elbows go wide. Exhale, elbows connect as your hands raise to right at your nose level. Inhale, flow those arms up. Exhale, open those wide arms, cactus pose, heart shines here. And inhale, flowing those arms up. Exhale, releasing those hands down to your heart center. Just warming up and releasing that tension out of your neck. We're gonna inhale here, bring our left hand out to that outside of that right knee. Your right hand's gonna come behind you. I'm gonna turn to give you a different perspective here. So we're gonna have our left hand on the outside of our right knee, our left hand behind you. We're gonna inhale here up in our spine, nice straight spine, crown of the head reaches upward. Exhale, we're gonna turn our gaze, look over that right shoulder. Give that nice beautiful rinse, a nice little twist in the spine. So we're checking in with that back hand. Make sure those right fingertips are nice and soft on your mat, on the ground. Using that left hand for leverage, we're gonna inhale to lengthen in the spine. Exhale, deepen that twist. And go ahead and slowly release the head, the shoulders, and lastly the torso back towards center. Bring that right hand to the outside of the left knee. Left hand comes behind you. Inhale, find that length in the spine. Exhale, twist the head, the shoulders, and lastly the torso. Checking in with that back hand. Make sure those fingertips are soft. Using that right hand for leverage. Sit bones are still grounded into the ground. Inhale, find length. Exhale, finding that twist. Inhale, slowly release, coming back towards center, head, shoulders, lastly the torso. From here, we're going to do a cat-cow, seated cat-cow pose. So leave your hands on the outside of your knees. We're going to inhale here. Chest is going to come forward. Tailbone's going to stay grounded. Head's going to drop back. Exhale, we're going to round that back. Keeping those hands here to keep our balance. Our backs can go back towards the back side. Inhale, flowing forward, coming into cow. Exhale, rounding that back, driving that belly button in towards your spine. Inhale, flowing into cow. Head drops back, shoulders drop away from the ears. Exhale, rounding that back, getting that nice rotation in the back. Belly button comes in. Inhale, flowing back into cow. One more time through, flowing with your own breath. Cat. And exhale, flowing back into cow and coming back up into neutral. From here, we're just going to release out those shoulders. So we're going to inhale those shoulders up. Exhale, rolling them back. Inhaling the shoulders up. Exhale, gently rolling them back, switching directions. Inhale up. Exhale, roll those shoulders forward. Inhaling them up. Exhale, releasing them forward here. And go ahead and from here, we're going to begin with our sequence of our yin. Remember, yin is where we're stretching that connective tissue. So we're working on stretching the connective tissue in our joints, that fascia tissue. So we need three main things. We need to find our edge. So find that bit of resistance. Look through that peak hole, greet it with kindness. Secondly, we need to find stillness in the pose. Just become as still as possible. And the third thing that you need during Yin is you need time. You need to give your body time to reach that connective tissue. So we hold the poses here in our Yin for 3 to 5 minutes. Whenever you're uncomfortable, you're feeling pain or pinching, just back out, come to a comfortable pose that's comfortable for you. So from here, we're going to start in our child's pose. So in our child's pose, we're going to bring our feet wide on our mat, our knees wide on our mat, or they can be in narrow, whatever's more comfortable. I'll kind of try to scoot off to the side here so you can see what Nick's doing and see what I'm doing. So we're going to bring those knees wide on the mat, or they can be in narrow. Big toes are touching. And then from here, you're just going to walk those hands out in front of you. So our big toes are touching. We're going to walk the hands out in front of us. Our tailbones drop back towards the heels of our feet. Our back has that natural rounding to it. So you see his nice natural rounding of his back. Forehead lowers down to the ground. And if you notice that's pretty uncomfortable to try, and your head's not quite coming to the ground, you can always grab a pillow and rest your head on that pillow. So we're always just bringing that ground up to meet us. If you notice there's a big gap between your sit bones and your heel, you can grab a hold of a pillow, stick that pillow right behind there just to add that extra cush. Because we are holding these poses longer, you just want to make yourself as comfortable as possible. So just coming into your version of a child's pose, big toes touching, knees wide or narrow, hands out in front of you or out alongside you, reaching back, forehead resting on the ground here. Just feeling that sense of being grounded here. Feel a sense, just feeling as if you're being loved and cared for, and that all your needs are being met. So just take a moment here in child's pose, finding some stillness. Allowing for time and allowing that body, that nervous system to feel supported so that your body can feel relaxed. Because when your body feels relaxed, your mind follows. So just be here. Just allow any of those outside sounds, those noises, just to remind you that you're present, that you're in the here and now. Just welcome them. Allow them to happen. Allow those kids' laughter, playing. Just allow it to be in the background. On your next inhale, you're going to draw those arms off to the right side. So if you're on a mat, you're going to draw them off to the right side of your mat. Lower your forehead back down to the mat. You're going to come up onto those fingertips and just allow for that stretch to happen along that left side of the body. So you're just coming as far as you're comfortable with in your body. Listening to your breath. Staying rooted and connected. And go ahead and inhale, walk those hands back towards center. Lower that forehead back down. taking that inhale, drawing those hands off to that left side. Get that opening along that right side. Feel that open on your shoulder, your ribs, through your hips. Sit bones still setting back towards your heels. And then inhale, walking those hands back towards center. Pausing here for a moment. Maybe reaching those hands out just a little bit further in front of you. Coming up just a little bit higher on those fingertips. We're going to go ahead and slowly begin to walk those hands back towards you. And once you find yourself sitting on your knees, you're going to prop yourself up onto your knees. Go ahead and curl those toes under. So we're going to curl the toes under. We're on our knees here, and we're just going to go ahead and set our hip bones, set our sit bones right back on our heels. So we're going to get a nice toe stretch here. So we're just setting up nice and tall. At any point, if this becomes too much for your knees, you can always put a blanket underneath your knees or put something underneath your ankles to add some support. You see Nick's adding a pillow underneath his knees, a little added cushion. So we're just getting that stretch in our toes, our ankles. You can always come off of them at any point. It becomes too much. We're going to inhale those arms behind us, bringing those arms into a reverse prayer position. Bringing those palms together behind your back. And if that's too much on your shoulders or wrist, modification is just to go ahead and grab a hold of those forearms. So we're just breathing here. Arms are in prayer position. Getting that stretch on our toes. Continue to breathe, stay present. And just notice your breath. Notice if you're putting more emphasis, more depth into your breath, and just allow that to tell you that maybe you need to back out a little bit. Maybe try coming back in a different position. And go ahead and release those hands out. Bring those hands down to your mat. Come up off of your feet and go ahead and tap those toes a couple times on your mat. Just releasing out those ankles. And then from here, we're going to leave those feet flat on our mat. We're going to set back towards our heels. And if that's too much tension on your knees, grab a hold of a pillow, a blanket, a block if you have one. Set it right underneath your sit bones to prop those hips up to take some of that pressure off your knees. Another modification here is if you have any pressure or pain in your ankles, you can grab a hold of a blanket and stick it right underneath those ankles to add a little cushion. Otherwise, you can come fully back with me. We're going to sit back on those feet, get that deeper stretch on that front of our thighs, our knees, our ankles. Hands are going to come back behind us, fingers pointing towards our legs. And we're just going to lift those knees very slightly up off the mat. So there's just a very slight lift of the knees. Chest is still open and lifted. And we're just getting that deeper stretch in our ankles. Opening through the chest. Breathing here. And go ahead and release those knees down to your mat. Come on to all four. So we're going to have our knees stacked underneath our shoulders, our hands in line with our shoulders, our knees stacked underneath our hips. And we're going to curl those toes under and we're going to push back into our first down dog. So we're just coming into this nice down dog position here. You want to come forward on your mat. So from here in our down dog position, we're going to push those hips back towards the back part of your mat. Your rug, whatever you're on, push them back towards your heels. Your chest is going to lower down towards your thighs. Your ears are in between your arms. Your fingertips are pushing into your mat. Maybe those heels aren't coming quite all the way down to your mat. That's perfectly fine. You just go ahead and pedal out your dog here. So bring that right knee down towards the mat. Push back through that left hip. Just pausing there for a moment. And then doing the same with the left. Bring the left knee in, pushing back through that right thigh, pushing back through that right hip. And then go ahead and bring both feet back to center. From here, we're going to go ahead and slowly walk our feet towards our hands, pausing with our feet underneath our hips. Hands are still connected down to the ground. We're going to collect our elbows, grabbing a hold of opposite arms, and just allow that body to hang. So you're just coming into a nice forward fold here. So we're just in this beautiful, nice forward fold. You can rock that body from side to side, slow, intentional movements, releasing out the back. Keeping the legs active and grounded. You can always have a slight bend in your knees if you need to. And just let go of any negative thoughts that aren't serving you right now. Just allow them to just flow out of the top of your head, releasing them out here. Releasing out that lower back. And then go ahead and move your head for a yes. Move your head up and down, nice slow movements. Just encouraging that back to release just a little bit further. And then from here, we're going to lower those hands down towards the mat. Bring those feet a little bit wider than your hips. Feet are nice and flat. So our feet are going to be nice and flat here. And then we're going to go ahead and lower our tailbones down. So you're going to go ahead and lower that tailbone down. So your feet are flat on the mat. And your tailbone is just going to get heavy down towards your mat. Your hands are in front of you. Or you can bring them up here into prayer position. So your elbows are going to be pushing wide on your knees. A modification is to grab a hold of a block. Grab a hold of a book. Set that set bone right on top of that. So you have that nice support there. Our chest is lifted. You can kind of notice if it feels really easy, then you're probably up on your toes. We want to make sure that those feet are nice and flat. Chest is lifted. You can always roll up a blanket in half, stick it underneath there, add some cushion too if you don't have a block or a pillow handy. Just breathe here, chest is open. You can encourage those elbows to push into your knees. Just taking a moment here in this nice yogi squat. Tailbone is heavy. Collect a breath, close your eyes for a minute. We're going to go ahead and drop those hands down towards the mat. Bring that left hand out in front of you. Inhale here, exhale, open up through that right arm. So tailbones and chest is still lifted. We're just getting this nice little twist. Release that right hand down, replacing the left in front of your body. Inhaling and flowing that left arm open. Exhale, release that hand back down to meet the right. Begin to slowly roll up, pushing in through those feet. Coming up one vertebrae at a time. Staying in that half fold here. Again, grabbing a hold of those elbows. Just letting that back release one more time. Nice fold over here, half fold. Just letting that body dangle here. You can move those arms from side to side. Allow that neck to be nice and loose. Just taking a breath. Letting go of any negative thoughts, any stress, any worries. Allowing them to roll off your back at this moment. Now go ahead and release those hands down to your mat. Walk those feet back to your down dog. Pausing in that down dog here. You pedal out your dog if it feels good. And go ahead and slowly release those knees down to the mat. Swing those legs off in front of you. Again, if you're tight in the hips, you can grab a hold of a pillow, sit on the edge of a pillow. So we're going to bring those legs in front of us, bring the soles of our feet together. closer you have them to you, the more you're gonna stretch that inner groin area. A little bit further out, you're gonna stretch that back. You wanna sit up nice and tall here. And as you exhale, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're just gonna allow that body to begin to round forward. If it's too much tension on your knees, grab a hold of that blanket, that pillow, stick them underneath your knees. If you have a hold of blocks, you can put a block underneath each knee. So we're just gonna be here in this nice butterfly pose. Another modification that I know my son likes to use, you can slide those hands underneath those calves to encourage that body just to come forward over those feet. Bringing your forearms down towards your mat. Dropping that forehead down towards your feet. And just pausing here. We're getting that opening in our hips. We're stretching that inner part of our legs. So just allow the neck and the back to just round naturally. Allow the neck to be loose. Allow the knees, as gravity just pulls them down, just allow gravity to just pull those knees down towards the ground. Allow them to be heavy. We're going to be here for just a few minutes, so just allow time to soak in. Allow those worries, the stress to roll off your back. And just breathe in this moment. Knowing you are where you need to be. You are cared for, you are loved. Cultivating some kindness in your body. So breathing here. Allow that heart rate to slow. Closing your eyes whenever it's comfortable to you. Again, if you're finding yourself in any pain, any numbness, just go ahead and slowly come out. You can always draw those knees in and just sit here in a nice cradle position. Just allow your body to be your teacher. Allow it to tell you when to come deeper, when to back out. And as you sit here in these different poses, these yin poses, begin to notice how over time your body is able to give in just a little bit deeper. Just cultivating that throughout your life. Begin to notice how you start to get into a pattern with the kids' schedule, a pattern with your spouse, in your home, a pattern with this new life, this new journey we're all on. Just remembering that we're all in it together. At any moment you can reach out and find someone to talk to. Take a breath, do a little yoga, sit and read a book to your children. And just breathe. And go ahead and slowly begin to roll up, coming up one vertebrae at a time till you find yourself back at your center position, grounded into your set bone. Bring those hands underneath those knees. Begin to slowly draw those knees in towards each other. Bring those feet nice and wide, so a little bit wider than shoulders. And then we're just going to go ahead, bring those hands behind us, our palms facing forward. And we're just going to go ahead and begin to drop those knees in. So we're going to drop right knee in towards the left. Just coming to wherever you are. Lifting that right knee back up. Release that left knee in towards the right. Chest is still remaining lifted. Pushing into the base of our hands. Back towards center. Right falling down towards the left. Opening through that outer hip. Inhale back towards center. Release that left knee down. Coming back towards center here. And then go ahead and swing those legs underneath you. Coming onto all four. And then we're going to step our right foot forward. And then that back foot is just going to, back knee, your left knee is gonna be back behind your hips. It doesn't matter where your alignment is with that front leg. The further you have that ankle back towards you, the more you're gonna get that stretch in that Achilles tendon. If you have your leg more lined up, you're gonna get that deep stretch there. We're just lowering that left hip down towards the mat, opening through that hamstring there. And then from here, we're gonna shift those hips back, walk that ankle over, that right ankle over to meet that left wrist. Lower that left knee down. Maybe your leg comes a little bit further in towards your groin, or maybe it's like mine where it's a little bit further forward. We're gonna walk that back leg back, lowering down to the ground here, coming down to your elbows. If you have a couple pillows, you can stack those pillows up in front of you. Lowering down here, coming into a sleeping swan position. If it's too much strain on your hips or your knees, I'll show you a modification you can do. You can roll to this outside of this right hip, come down to that right hip, and draw this left knee in. So you've got this bend, and then just drape that body over that front leg. Just coming to whatever suits you. Use your props, use your pillows. Help find that cushion there. Just allowing that body some time here. Just draping that body, allowing it to be heavy over that front leg. Breathing here. Cultivating some of that kindness into our hips, into our thighs. And just play around with those poses, adjusting where you need to. Maybe it feels a little better to curl those back toes under. Maybe it's a little more comfortable to be up here on your hands. Whatever that looks like to you. But just give into the pose. You're not moving your body into the pose, but you're becoming the pose. You're just allowing your body to be in the pose. So it's going to look different to all of us. Nick's a little more off to the side on his hip, but he's still getting that deep stretch into his sit bone. Just continuing to breathe, welcoming that intensity and feeling it dissipate with each moment. And go ahead and bring those hands, those palms of your hands, flat onto the mat, onto the ground. Push that weight into your hands. Curl that back toe under. Lift up off that back knee. Step that right foot back to meet the left, coming into a down dog position. And just drop those hips from side to side. Just a nice windshield wiper position here. Dropping the hips from side to side. And then go ahead and flow that left leg forward, lowering that right knee down towards your mat, down towards the ground. Right knee comes back behind right hip. Toes on that right foot can be curled under or flat. And just begin to sink in towards that front leg. So opening this front part of that right leg. Breathing here. Taking that breath, allowing that pelvis to just be heavy as it sinks down towards the mat. Breath is flowing. Adjusting wherever you need to. If you need pillows to prop your hands up on to get that height, you're more than welcome to. And then from here, we're going to shift that weight back a little bit towards that back foot. Begin to walk that left ankle over towards that right wrist. Drop that left knee down. Walk that back foot back just a little bit further. Toes can remain curled under or flat. Take a breath here, and then when you're ready, walking down to your elbows, lowering all the way down to your mat. Bringing those pillows in front of you. Putting those pillows in front of you. Lowering that body down to your pillows, whatever that might look like to you. Again, another modification is to roll onto that left hip, draw a nice small bend in that right knee and continue to drape that body over that left leg. Coming into that nice little sleeping swan position here. Draping that body, allowing it to be like a velvet curtain, just heavy draping down to the floor. Just allow that body to be heavy here. Checking in with those glutes, the thighs, allowing those muscles to be as soft as possible, because when your muscles are soft, it's easier for us to reach that connective tissue. Just go ahead and welcome that intensity. Breathe to any areas that feel tight. And just really allow that breath to move to those areas. Releasing the body and letting go. And go ahead and bring those hands, palms of the hands flat onto your mat, onto the ground. Pushing into those hands, we're going to curl those back toes under. Lift up off that back knee. Go ahead and step that left knee back to meet the right, both knees coming to the mat, dropping those hips from side to side. Nice little release here. Bring those big toes touching, setting those hips back towards your feet, walking those hands out in front of you, lowering down into that child's pose. Just allowing for that lower back and for those hips just to take a moment of breath here. Just breathing it out. Feeling that stretch along your spine. If you have your hands out in front of you, you're getting that stretch in your shoulders. Just allowing that body to relax so that the mind can follow. Taking a moment to hear that breath as it flows in and out. And go ahead and slowly begin to walk those hands back towards you. From here, we're going to come into a nice wide-legged pose, dragonfly pose here. So kind of try to straddle Nick a little bit here so you can see me. So you're going to go ahead and bring those legs as wide as you can. So we're coming to this nice wide-legged pose here. See if we can jigsaw our puzzle in this room so you can see us. And then if you know that you're pretty tight in that inner groin, you can always sit on a pillow again to get those hips tilted forward. You can bring those pillows in front of you. Even a blanket, we have a bolster. If you have a bolster, you can bring that bolster in front of you. And what you're going to do is you're going to just allow those legs to be nice and wide. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, just begin to walk those hands out in front of you. So we're getting this opening through the groin and that inner part of our legs, a release in our back. So just come into wherever you are. Maybe your hands are just flat on the ground. You can bring those pillows up, have that ground come up to meet you. If you like to reach out towards your toes, get your yoga hold, your 2 forefingers and your thumb. Grab a hold of those toes and just release that body down towards the ground. Just coming as far as you're comfortable with. Allow that neck to be soft. And then checking in with your body. Notice if you're really tense in the legs. If you're tense in the legs, just allow that to release out. Just allow it to just be in this moment. We're not trying to hold our body tightly. You're just trying to just be here. Get that connective tissue stretching, get those joints and that fascia tissue stretching. It's a nice, beautiful forward stretch here. Nice wide legs. Just allowing that just peace just to start to settle in. And with each moment, you're just allowing that body just to get a little heavier as it starts to come forward. Closing your eyes, allowing those backs to round naturally. Releasing out the tension in your forehead. Try taking the tongue off the roof of your mouth. Letting go of that tension in your jaw. Allow the shoulders to be heavy as they fall forward. And just allowing this to be a reminder to stop holding the tension in your body and to just be. And from here, we're going to bring our hands flat on the ground. Just begin to walk those hands slowly back towards you, coming up one vertebrae at a time. Walk those legs in towards each other, coming long ways on your mat. So we're just going to bring those feet flat and just begin to roll back, coming back one vertebrae at a time, keeping that chest and that back nice and lifted. Just begin to lower, engaging that core. Lowering down to your mat, one level at a time. And then once you're on your mat, flat on your back, from here, we're going to draw those knees in towards our chest, coming into a cradle position here, and just begin to rock those legs back and forth. We're massaging out that tailbone, that sacrum. Just slight movements here, squeezing in those legs. Allowing that back of your head just to imprint into the ground. Drawing little circles with the knees towards the right and then towards the left, just small intentional circles. And then from here, we're going to draw those feet up towards the ceiling. Your feet are going to look as if they're trying to stand on the ceiling. Your knees are going to come in towards your armpits. You can bring those hands on either the outside of your knees, outside of your feet, or the inside of your feet. Whichever is more comfortable. Nick has his on the inside. I have mine on the outside. And you're just going to begin to draw those feet down towards you. So we're drawing those knees in towards our armpits. Getting that stretch on our legs, our hips, our groin, our back is getting a massage. And just start to rock from side to side. A modification here, if this is too much strain on your knees or your thighs, is just to bring your hands to your knees and just kind of rock from side to side. So just doing whatever looks good to you. Doing this happy baby pose, just massaging out that lower back. Using those hands to pull those feet down towards you. Breathing into that spine. And then go ahead and release those legs up towards the ceiling. Those hands can come down alongside you. Bring our legs to an upper wall position. Just allowing all of that just to flow out of our legs here. So just begin to notice as you lay here. Often I have my son do this when he was wrestling a lot, to just find that release in his legs. If you begin to notice that you have tingly sensation in your toes, you can always just draw those knees in towards your chest. So from here, we're going to inhale those feet, stretching them up, pointing them towards the ceiling. Exhale, flex those toes down towards your face. Inhale, pointing. Exhale, flexing those feet down. Inhale, pointing. Exhale, flex. This time when we inhale, we're gonna inhale, crunch those toes up. Exhale, release them wide. Get that stretch and that webbing of our toes. Inhale, crunching. Exhale, spreading the toes wide. And then go ahead and draw those knees in towards your chest. Just taking a breath here. Moving them from side to side. And then go ahead and lower those feet down towards your mat. We're going to bring that left leg straight out in front of us. We're going to hook this right big toe right underneath this inside part of our knee. So just hook that right toe right underneath that knee. Arms come up into a goal post, or if you have space, you can bring them out nice and wide. And then we're going to go ahead and drop that right leg off to the left, keeping your shoulders grounded into your mat, getting that stretch along your spine. Now your right knee might not drop all the way down to the ground. You can always put some pillows underneath there to support that leg. Getting that twist in the spine. Your gaze can stay up towards the ceiling, or you can draw your gaze off over that right arm. Just getting that gentle twist here. Then we'll go ahead and inhale, come back towards center. Bring that left foot back flat on the mat. Extend that right leg out in front of you. Hook that left big toe underneath that inside part of your right knee, that under part of your right knee. And then go ahead and drop that left leg off towards that right side. Getting that twist in your spine. Again, your knee might not be coming all the way to the ground. You can always put a block, books, or a pillow underneath that knee to add some support. Shoulders are connected to the ground. Breathing into the spine. Noticing if you're holding tension in the hips, just allow that leg just to hang off to that right side. Gaze can come up towards the ceiling or over across that left arm. Then go ahead and draw those legs back towards center. Bring your legs out in front of you. Bring them a little bit wider than your hips. Your hands out alongside you. Find space away from your body. If you have pillows or blanket, roll up that blanket, place it underneath your knees. To give your knees a little bit of support here. You can draw a pillow underneath your head, whatever that might be. Just allow those ankles to fall outwards like pages of a book. Here we're going to come into our final resting pose or final Shavasana pose. We're just going to do a few minutes of meditation. So just begin to notice. Closing your eyes, notice your breath. Letting go of any particular breath, any particular breathing pattern. Allow those eyes to be heavy. Allow the wrinkles on your forehead to be soft. Allow the palms of your hands to become soft as the back of your hands begin to be heavy towards the ground. Allow your hips to feel gravity pulling them heavy towards the ground. Allow them to become soft as they just melt. Taking that tongue off the roof of your mouth, taking out any of the tension in your jaw. Shoulders roll back and underneath. Just begin to feel the belly as it rises with each inhale and softens with each exhale. Inhaling in and allowing all background noise to keep you grounded to the here and now. Being present to where you are, where you're meant to be. And as your body just begins to relax even further, I'm going to read you a few words, a short poem. Abundance in Yin is a recognition that we already have enough. To cultivate the feeling of abundance in our life, we remember that we are as we are, enough. We have enough material possessions. Our relationships are enough. Our job is enough. We have done enough. Are good enough, are beautiful enough. We know enough. And we are precisely where we are meant to be. So, relax here. Put down the internal pressure you place on yourself. Put down the need to improve what is already beautiful. Know that you are enough. You are where you're meant to be. Take the time to breathe, the time to relax. Take that little extra time with your family. Reach out to loved ones or to someone that you haven't talked to in a while. And just take a deep breath in here. Exhale, release it out through your mouth. Begin to wiggle those toes, wiggle the fingers, move your head from side to side. Draw those knees in towards your chest. I was beginning to wonder if he would move. I thought he was asleep. Just draw those knees in towards your chest. Take a breath and start to become aware of the present. Start to draw your body back to the present. Rotate your body to one side or the other. Resting your head on your arm as a pillow. And take a few breaths of transition. A few breaths of transition is starting into the rest of your day. And then when you're ready, you can join me in a seated position. Your legs can be cross-legged. You can be out in front of you, whatever might be more comfortable to you. You bring those hands up to your heart center. Closing those eyes one last time. We're going to end the way we started. We're going to inhale, flowing those arms up. Exhale, bringing them into that cactus pose. Inhale, flowing the arms up. And exhale, lowering those hands down to your heart center. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to practice with me and my lovely assistant, my husband. We hope this found a little bit of peace in your day for you. Come back to it whenever you need to. Come back to your breath when you need it. And instead of social distancing, do a little physical distancing and do some social reconnecting to those around you. Namaste.